Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it. We'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here. Happy Thanksgiving from the team here at the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, November 27th. This was pre-recorded, so if you have questions, please feel free to ask them. We're just not going to be answering them live today, but we are going to answer a couple questions that we did have recorded. So what's going on with the markets? What do we expect, this holiday week and really just 3 or 4 weeks left in the year? The answer is not a lot. I don't really expect much. And let me tell you my thoughts. We had the election. We have the Trump administration. We have the cabinet picks. We have 50-something days until the administration's change. Do I expect anything crazy for 2 months? No, I don't. I really hope that we have a very flatline thing for 2 months. We don't want crazy. Crazy means that things are going around the world that we don't want to have happening. So we're hoping to see a very slow period for the month of December and for the month of January. Markets should not be moving much, if at all. They're moving around a little bit, but what have we seen in the markets? Well, steel prices have fallen again. That doesn't surprise me, nor do I think that we're going to see the steel markets having any type of life this year. When I look at the steel markets, I'm looking at oil and gas prices coming down slightly, right? Then you're talking about drill baby drill next year, which could bring the oil and gas down. That could be the first sign of life that's going to be pumped into the steel markets. But again, that's not going to happen until halfway through 2025. I don't expect the first or second quarter to have any huge prices when it comes to steel. If anything, it could be more of a down market opposed to an up market. So again, steel markets, nothing crazy. I continue to suggest selling steel as fast as you get it. We continue to have a 1 to 2 day turnover on all of our steel products coming in. We're not holding on to anything or over processing, nor do I think you should, unless of course it's things like air conditioners. Now, when it comes to the copper market, what have I seen? Not a lot of positives. The Chinese continue to have mixed demands and mixed news coming out. 1 week, they're going to have the stimulus going in. Then they see some strong signs of life. And then 3 weeks in a row, we hear negative, negative, negative. And where the copper market is again, probably going to be somewhere where it's going to be for the balance of this year. Thanksgiving's happening late this year. So you have 2 to 3 days of trading this week. Next week, you have 3 full weeks until Christmas. Then you have Christmas on a Wednesday, and you have New Year's the week after. So you have a 6-week stretch of time that has a lot of weird trading days, and a lot of people that made money in the stock market are going to be pulling their money out in December. That's not going to be a surprise. I do expect the stock market to have a bit of a downward plunge in December with just some profit taking happening. But when it comes to metals, copper, aluminum, and brass, people are continuing to move these things, not really profit making as much as moving metals. And at the end of the year, what happens is some of these companies close up. So this copper, the aluminum, the steel recyclers, the smelting operations aren't taking product in. Oftentimes, these are periods when they do some repairs because they know it's already going to be a little slow around the holidays. So where's this material going to go? A lot of it's going to sit in a few different places, at your local scrapyard, at larger scrapyards, or it's going to sit on ships that are going overseas and not really moving. So you have a 2-month period of time that has a funnier transition because of the presidential election this year. I just don't see a lot of crazy things happening. So if you're looking to do anything, I would hold on to Bear Bright. But again, it's Christmas season, so you might need that Bear Bright. I'm certainly not going to roast anyone for selling material, especially when you need money. But I would hold on to Bear Bright right now. I would hold on to stainless steel with nickel prices continuing to be near or at 52-week lows. But I don't expect to see a lot of movement in these markets for the last 4 or 5 weeks of this year. don't have high expectations for anything good happening, but I also don't have high expectations for bad things happening. Hopefully, the political sphere can maintain a status quo. We can get into the new presidential cabinet and start to have things moving along at a different pace when it comes to the first quarter of next year. Now we have a short week. We have the holiday slowdown, which generally happens. And here's one thing that we read from investing.com, and this has to do with gold prices, which ran up to, as many of you know, to $2,800 an ounce. And people were expecting that $3,000 spot. But then Trump won. We saw gold prices go down. We saw the stock market go up. The U.S. presidential elections have short-term effects on gold prices. While geopolitical and economic conditions drive broader trends, gold has declined by 6.6% post-election, reaching a low of $25.65 per ounce on November 14th. So this just shows you that gold rush in October was really a big push-up. A lot of people were kind of hedging their bets, if you will. And now you see things like Bitcoin and the stock market having big increases, and other commodities have pulled themselves back. Platinum, palladium, rhodium, gold, copper, aluminum, mostly steel, iron, down, down, down. So you can kind of see the correlation there. Growth money going into stocks, kind of a bit of a weight on the market. Short term is commodities. And that's one of the reasons that we've seen some of these pulled down. Now, article that I read through Reuters talking about China. The U.S. expands import bans on metals and food tied to alleged forced labor in China. This is more of the mixed news that continues to come in. So this says this action could both influence domestic and international metal commodities markets. Again, more of a short-term thing, but still good to know about. And products that could be affected: gold, iron, copper, lithium, nickel, beryllium, things that go into a lot of these different markets. We may see them affected over the next few weeks or months. Again, nothing to be overly concerned of, but again, it comes from different news, holidays, trading things out of China, and we always pay closer attention as the Chinese continue to buy so much material from around the world. Now, this was a question that we had that came in, and it was one that really kind of surprised me. Why may certain scrap yards not have a bare bright category or a common scrap grade? Is it shady, or is there something else from a yard perspective? Now, I have never heard of a scrap yard not having a number one wire or a number one bare bright or number one bare bright wire or a bare bright category. I've never heard of that. So if a scrap yard is just kind of lumping number one between wire and tubing, it's probably time to use the iScrap app to find another yard near you, because you are getting the short end of that stick. And one thing that you want to keep in mind when you look at the iScrap app, when you look at the reported prices, when you report prices yourself, a lot of the materials we have on there, you're not going to see every one of those listed at your scrap yards. There might be different names for things, light iron versus sheet iron. And we've talked about this in the past. So it shouldn't shock you when different names of things come up. But what you should want to do if you're going to a yard for the first time or you're confused, show up without material. Walk in, say, hey, I've been here before, or I'm looking to find a new scrapyard. Tell me about your operations. Sometimes you can only learn so much from a website, from Google reviews, right? All positive things, but sometimes you need to go in person and talk to people. There are scrapyards that I deal with where I don't do deals with them until I show up and talk to them. This afternoon, for instance, I'm going to a customer's location, and then I'm going to a new scrapyard location who's trying to buy material from me. And before I even talk about prices, I want to meet the person. I want to see the operation. I want to learn what to expect. And that's something that I do myself for my scrapyard, and it's something I recommend you do as well, especially when something like this pops up. Some quick numbers just to throw out at you. Week over week, gold prices are down about 3%. Copper prices about even overall, if not up a penny or two. Aluminum markets are down by about 1%. The nickel market continuing to hit 52-week lows, down over 3%. Platinum, palladium, about even. rhodium slightly down, and of course the catalytic converter markets are going to continue to be affected. Interesting thing that I read over the weekend about electric vehicles and about hybrids and about next year. Toyota has been the most successful company at lowering their emissions while not solely focusing on EVs. Now, Toyota has the biggest, I believe, the largest fleet of hybrid vehicles, meaning they have a battery, they can charge for 20 to 100 miles, but they still are using gas. So when you have gasoline in there, that's going to help bring more consumers in. Toyota has been able to sell more of these hybrid vehicles, increasing their market share on the hybrid side. And those are things that could be great for the catalytic converter market in 2025 through 2028. I'll only take a 4-year window here because who knows what administration comes in after that. But that could be really good, seeing a further push for hybrids and less of a push for pure electric vehicles. People still have this pessimism of, am I going to run out of battery when I'm driving, opposed to, oh, I'm driving a hybrid. If I run out of battery, I can still fill up with gas somewhere. And those are things that we're seeing. My in-laws, for instance, were looking at an electric vehicle, opted for a hybrid because they were a little trigger shy when it came to just having an electric vehicle for longer trips. So these are things that could be good for the catalytic converter industry as more materials are packed into those Toyota hybrids, the Toyota Priuses, and other ones. So we could see that kind of going to the other industries, but that'll be something that we'll look for in 2025 with some new products and some new announcements from these auto dealers. So scrappers, today is Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. I wish you, my sister, our staff here at the iScrap app, we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you're thankful for some of the things that we can do for you, as we're thankful for the reported prices and all the things that you do, letting us know how to teach you about the scrap markets more. My name is Tom, and until next week, gobble, gobble, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.